Hello, everybody. Ella J here on behalf of WrestleZone, and today I am joined by the Belle of the Brawl, Bryn Thorne. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah, I am so excited to catch up with you. It's been about 4 years, which is crazy. So much has changed, my friend. I know. I know. You have evolved so much, and you should be so proud. But before we even get into wrestling, I want to talk about music because obviously, from what I gather, you seem to be a fan of country music, but also kind of rock, maybe, at least according to your Instagram. What is your general music taste like though? I'm a country girly myself. You have Belle in your name, so you have to be at least somewhat of a country music fan, I would have to imagine.
Oh, definitely, dude. I'm so glad you asked that. Out of all of the things you're gonna ask me, I was like, please, please, please ask about the music. I listened to like your previous interviews and you talked about liking country music as well. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, not too many wrestlers that I've come across really like country music either, but I've actually grown quite fond of it. Over the last few years, and I'm from the Southwest, and it's like
Yeah.
very, very popular out here. And you're right, like I also kind of really enjoy like alt rock, but I am gonna pull the old fashioned, like I'm a fan of everything, but I do have
Mhm.
my specific genres that I stick to, for the different moods. I like for like my Instagram aesthetic, I love like my rock,
Yeah.
music and stuff, but for country, I love Morgan Wallen. A big fan of Co Wetzel, Tyler Childers, Ella Langley. Um,
I have Ella Langley on freaking repeat, dude. Like I've grown very fond of her like over the last 2 years. Like she is now always on my on repeat playlist. I love her
Dude,
so much.
me too. Like, I am such a big fan of hers. Very unique sound, and like, I actually got to see her open for Morgan Wallen,
Oh.
and I was like having such a good time, and like nobody else around me was like
Yeah.
jamming with it. I was like, oh my
Hmm.
God, like this chick like rocks. Like, I don't know,
Hmm.
she's gonna blow up if she hasn't.
I
Which
know.
I definitely think she has, like over the last couple of years, especially getting to open for Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
But I like came prepared. Like I had to like write everything down to make sure because I'm
That's
like,
amazing. Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
meet. Yeah, but like I like a lot of like underground like rock bands. I've actually
Mhm.
gotten to meet like quite a few of like my favorite bands just like because they're smaller, like a band
Mhm.
from LA called Wilt, female led. I like a lot of female led bands like Sweet Pill. They're from Pennsylvania. A band called, like, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It's spelled Raue, so it's like Rau. I don't
Okay.
even. They're great. Like a lot of like underground rock bands and such. But also like I'm really into like indie music as
Yeah.
well, or like just like alt in general, or like it's like alternative. So like Remy Wolf is like I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of Remy Wolf. I've seen her live multiple times, like by far the best live performer I've ever seen. Also a big fan of like hip hop, like Suicide Boys, any of like the G59 record people, Ash Nico, but yeah, and of course like Chapel Roan, Shy Girl, Charlie XCX, you name it.
I know you were planning to do this. Have you made chaperone ring gear yet?
Look, I haven't yet. I have the concept. I have not put the
Okay.
concept out because I don't want anybody to get any ideas because I have like my girl that makes and designs my
Hmm.
stuff that's like really, she's phenomenal. And she kind of just gets me, and she made a chapel set for me, just the concept, not the gear. The concept of kink is karma, my kink is karma concept. So it's like
Yeah.
kind of like that red and black theme. It's so dope. I hope to get it made within the next year or so.
Okay, so of the gears that you have had already made, have any of them been music? We were talking a little about this last time, but like I said, it's been 4 years. Have you had any like music inspired ring gears like already made?
Mm. No,
Okay.
I haven't. But that is 100% like on my to-do list. If you talk to any wrestler, getting gear is the hardest thing to
Yeah.
get. And it's
Yeah.
like the biggest thing out of your control. You can only control, what you can. But like the ring gear part, That's something like one I believe like 100% investing as much as you can into. But like I think, taking inspiration from music and then putting it into wrestling is like just like a really great collaboration and combination that you can do. I really hope one day I can make that set come to life.
Well, I hope so. And that'd be something different for you too, as well. I mean, I know we've seen a little bit of like that we talked about last time. Like I wore it's kind of acid wash, but we talked about this last time. I wore this for you because I know you're into that. You've got some, obviously, you used to have like some red and black, thorn. But I feel like for the most part, a lot of your stuff is kind of like darker, like black and like kind of like not moto, but kind of moto. So that'd be something different for you, kind of a chaperone look. Interesting.
No, dude, definitely. That's actually really funny that you say moto. I can't say exactly where I got the inspiration from my gear because I really have to keep it hush hush in case the individuals who own the certain company sees it, and I don't want to
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
but like I've taken like great inspiration from the motorcycle community. I love
Yeah.
riding motorcycles. And
I've
so like when
seen
you say moto, I was like, yes, like she gets it. Yeah, I do kind of go like the darker route with
Mhm.
my gear. I like it like the base black, but like I do take a lot of inspiration from that kind of community to kind of go forth with my gear concepts.
We'll talk about motorcycles in a minute, but I have to ask, what is the last concert that you've been to, most recent one?
My last concert was Remy Wolf. And then the one before that I have to mention because it was the Brat tour, dude. I went to Charlie XCX, and that was life, like literally. I hope when I'm old I can at least reflect and remember that. I hope that I
Mhm.
can remember that when I'm old. It was just such an amazing experience.
So I'm curious. I mean, I like a lot of her songs. I wasn't as into it as a lot of other people, but tell us about like that has to be like a whole experience in and of itself. Tell us about your Charlie XCX Brat summer concert experience.
Oh my God, dude. Well, firstly, I had a wonderful time. My
Mhm.
poor girlfriend did not. She was sick when we
Oh,
went,
oh
and
yeah.
she eats, sleeps, and breathes Charlie XCX, and so
Yeah.
like this was like big for us. Um, but I don't know, dude. Like just the entire when I first listened to it through, I was like, okay, like this is a little different from her normal sound because I we both had been listening to her music for years at this point. And so we're really excited for Brat to come out. When I first listened to it through, I was like, okay, like it takes a bit, to kind of really appreciate all of the art and like listening to it. And it came around finally. And I just kind of like really fell in love with it. And a lot of it's like really relatable. And then like her remix album came out
Yeah.
and that shit went crazy. Specifically 365 featuring Shy Girl is still like in my top played songs to this day. Fun fact about Charlie XCX before we move on. Fun fact, years ago, probably back when we probably did our first interview, I got my first speeding ticket uh, blasting Charlie XCX. So that's always just something I think fondly
That's
back
so
on. I'm just like,
funny.
yeah. It's funny because, it's ironic. She talks about driving fast cars all the time, and look where it
Hmm.
got
Have you gotten a speeding ticket since?
me. Mm-mm.
That means you're not listening to enough Brat.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you.
That's hilarious. You mentioned like I'm also one who has like a versatile like music. Like the only thing I won't listen to is like screamo just because it like hurts my ears and like classical music can like make me fall asleep. Like that anything else though I'm pretty like open to. Um maybe it is Charlie XCX, but if you could have any band or artist write and produce a custom entrance song for you, who would it be and what would the vibes be like?
Oh my God. That is such a good question.
I feel like you need a country rocker.
You know what? I think I do too. I think, someone of the likes of like Co Wetzel could probably do it. But it would need to be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it would need to be pretty heavy. The person, the artist that I come out to right now, because I actually have multiple theme songs, but the artist I kind of typically choose pretty often, his name is Yanni. She's I come out to a song called Whore of Babylon, and the vibes
Hmm.
have been immaculate every time I've come out to that theme song. And I've actually had the privilege to tell her in person. I've met her,
It's awesome.
that I come out to her theme song. So if anything, like a lot of her music is very much kind of like similar, not similar sounding, but very
Yeah.
unique. And I think like a part of that is like I really want to have like a unique overall sound and look to me. So I would probably pick like out of the two different vibes that we could kind of go with, like a heavier rock sound.
Yeah.
I would go like more like Coetzel
Okay.
or God, that is such a good question. Wow, I really don't know. Or Ziani.
Okay.
Or Ziani. I probably
It
have
kind
to
of
go
it's kind of a blend of both worlds too, you know. And I know that you've obviously had the country western spirit in you, but now you've also got it on you because I know last year you got this kind of western cowboy skull tattoo. I think it's on your leg. Um, Tell us the story behind that tattoo.
Yeah, so my cowboy is
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's on my arm.
Got it.
It's I'm a really big fan. I'm glad you asked this question. You asked some great questions. I'm a really, really big fan of American traditional tattoos.
Hmm.
I'm pretty young, so I'm really, really, really thinking about what I want on my body, but you can bet I'm gonna be covered. I will be covered. But part of it is like, I'm from the Southwest. I grew up in the desert. My family's always just had a really great appreciation for, our environment. And part of that is just like kind of like rodeo cowboy culture. Like that's just kind of like something that I've always appreciated and kind of grown with as I've like more listened to, country stuff from the Southwest. So like kind of like cowboys is just like a part of it, but I've always just like kind of loved the way that this American traditional piece is like probably hundreds of thousands of people have it. It's really, but my artist made it unique to his own and just like the details and stuff, but it's so cool. Like I just thought it was really unique. I also have a smaller leg piece. It's an Eye of the Storm. Let me pop up, let me show
Hmm.
you.
Sure.
Let me show you this bad boy.
Oh, that's cool.
Don't know if you can see it super
Got some
clear.
barbed wire there.
Oh hell yeah,
Got some
brother.
eyes. Yeah.
Got a pipe right here,
Yeah,
American
I
traditional
saw that.
pipe. We're puffing on paradise. Ironically enough, I was supposed to get two brand new ones just this past weekend, but there was a snowstorm going on up north in Sedona where my artist is based, and
Okay.
so we had to cancel. But I will be getting them in the next few weeks here.
Is
So
Sedona still in Arizona? I don't know my Arizona geography, I'm not gonna
yeah, no,
lie.
you're totally fine. So yes, Sedona is in Arizona. It's about 2 hours north of Phoenix.
Do you guys get snow? Like, does that area get snow often?
Yeah, so basically, like northern Arizona gets a lot of snow, believe it or
Okay.
not, and then
Okay.
southern Arizona will get
Got
snow.
it.
But if you're like dead center, like pretty much like Tucson and up to then like Phoenix, you're not gonna get any snow.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Have you, maybe dumb question, have you experienced snow in your life?
I have, yeah, not a dumb
Okay.
question at all. Not a dumb question at all. No, yeah, I have. Growing up, I would my family would go up to Flagstaff and we'd
Hmm.
do like the snow bowl and stuff like that. So I've definitely experienced snow quite a few times growing up. I am not a fan of the cold. I am
Well,
a
you're
desert.
conditioned to like not, so I get it. I'm the opposite because I've only grown up in the cold, so I get it.
Yeah, I am, pardon my language, but I am just an insufferable pussy when it comes to the cold. Like anything, I'm so accustomed to the heat here
Mm.
that anything below 60 or 50, no, yeah, anything below 50, consider it a blizzard in my body. Like it's we're getting layers on.
I'm the exact opposite. I cannot do like maybe because Arizona is like not as humid from what I hear, so maybe I could tolerate it. But for me, anything above like 75, I'm like, no, thank you. Like for me, like 50 to 60 is ideal. It's nice and chilly. You can wear a sweater. It's so good. It's crisp. I cannot do the heat. For me, that's insufferable.
Understood. I get it. Our bodies are just like accustomed to what they're,
That's
used
funny.
to. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, but you obviously mentioned, speaking of the heat, you are driving around in motorcycles, or at least I've seen you pose with them before. Can you actually like drive a motorcycle? Yeah,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
tell me. Tell me about your experience learning how to drive one.
Yeah, so honestly, I've just kind of loved vehicles with wheels on them my entire life. Quads, dirt bikes, motorcycles and stuff. I haven't ever owned one. My grandpa, that's his bike. The ones
Okay.
that you've seen pictures of, that's his bike. He's had that since before I was born. And so he taught me how to ride it. They live out in the middle of nowhere, so I don't, hopefully I don't get caught, or anything like that. But he did teach me how to ride it. It did take some trial and error because you're learning it on a manual, so you're pulling in the clutch, changing the shifts, releasing it, trying not to stall out. I did it a million times and then finally got the hang of it, and then next thing you know, I'm going real fast and I'm like, oh my god, like this is so freeing and it's such an amazing experience. I did really really want to get a bike, and then I kind of had a unique experience, and I would always take it as just like a sign. There's something watching over me, I will just consider it like that's I've made my peace with it. I was saving up to put a down payment on a motorcycle. I prefer cruisers. The bike that my grandpa has is a Honda Shadow,
Hmm.
and so I learned on that. It's too big of a bike for me, but I wanted to put a down payment on a bike, and like just as I was like a little bit away from doing so, my car caught on fire
Oh my
and
God.
totaled out. Yeah, my car caught on fire and totaled out of left field. Like I babied that car like crazy, but I drove it like California, Vegas constantly.
Yeah.
So it took its toll on it. And so it blew up, like literally caught on fire, blew up. That was one thing. And so I just kind of looked at it and I was like, all right, I'm going to take this as a sign. Something's telling me don't get that bike. Just
Yeah.
because of the statistics, it's not the riders, it's the people
Hmm.
around them that, cause
Yeah.
that risk factor. But to the point, I think just like riding motorcycles, one is super freaking cool, super cool.
Absolutely.
And it's such a freeing experience to just feel the wind on your face and then look all around you. If I like in nature, I'm surrounded by mountains when I go and ride. And so it's just
Yeah.
like so beautiful to get to experience something like that. And I just kind of like just developed a passion for it and for the culture of it. Like the people are super cool that ride them. And so it's just a super cool thing overall. I enjoy it.
Well, I guess it was a good thing you had that money saved up. Like you said, like I guess everything happened. So it was a sign, Bryn.
No, it literally was. I was just kind of like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my God. Like,
Were you at least like, were you, I hope you weren't in the car when your car caught on fire.
well, I kind of like, I was in it when it started. I just didn't know it started. I smelled
Okay.
it. And ironically enough, I was like at the place I go to get it serviced. And thankfully, there were no cars by me. And I just
Yeah.
happened to park no cars by me. Thank God. And yeah, so it like sputtered out on me, and then it turned back on, and then I was able to park it, and I smell like the burning wires and stuff, and I was like okay, like I should probably go inside and tell them this. And then
Yeah, my
I walk
car's on
outside.
fire.
Yeah, I literally walk outside and I was like on the phone with my mom, and I look and it's like engulfed, like completely engulfed, and I was like,
Shit, bro.
oh, my car's on fire. And she's like, what? And I was like, I gotta go. And I called
Yeah.
911. That was
Yeah.
crazy. So, I look back and laugh now.
Well, I guess that's kind of the best place to, I mean, God forbid, but like if that it's gonna happen anywhere, I guess that's the best place, like right near the
No.
car.
Yeah, the angels were watching over me for
Yeah,
real. They really were.
absolutely. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed that doesn't happen again and all of that. And you continue to ride down the roads to up and down the West Coast to Canada. We'll talk about that a bit later. We've obviously covered the Belle portion of your moniker. Now I want to dive into the Brawl portion. So hypothetically, if you found yourself in a legit barroom brawl, what four wrestlers would you choose and trust to back you up in that fight?
Dude, you've got some killer questions today. It's so funny. I just love a bar though. I love a barroom brawl. Let's
You've
see.
wrestled in some bars, I know.
I have. They are my favorite thing to do.
Hmm.
I love barroom fights. Let me think. Let me think of the people that I just know. Okay, can I do male and female? It doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, number one, I would choose Tyler Bateman. That's my boy, and he wrecks it, and I know he would do great in a barroom fight. Four, okay. Let me think. You know who can hold her own very, very well in a bar fight is Sandra Moon.
I knew
Sandra Moon
you were gonna
holds her
say
own.
that, but it's still surprising to me. Like, I mean, I guess she can be feisty, so like, good
She
for
hits
her.
hard. Don't even get it
Hmm.
twisted. Like she hits hard,
Hmm.
and I know because I actually did fight her in a bar, so I can attest to that. She definitely, I would pick her to be on my team for sure. Who else? Wow. Let's see, team. Wow. Let me think. Give me 1 second. Let me cook for a second.
Sure, let her cook.
Let me cook.
That's hilarious.
It's kind of a hard question, but not really. Cutthroat Cody, my boy Cutthroat Cody.
I
He
mean, with a
also
name like that,
he knows his way around
absolutely.
a bar, and he knows his like a bar fight. He knows his way around a
Hmm.
bar fight. That's his specialty for sure, for sure. Okay. I would say I'm just trying to fit the vibe here. Because I actually have another, I have Circle Six coming up, which is the bar
Yeah.
fight. I'm just like, plotting and scheming. Who would I want on my team? I need somebody like feisty, you know?
Mm.
Um, let's see. Somebody Heidi Howitzer. Heidi
Yeah.
Howitzer.
Hardcore legend right there.
That's my yeah. Yep. That's somebody who will waterboard you, and I want her on my team.
Or stab you with skewers, I guess.
I mean, yeah, from personal experience, for sure.
Now, luckily, this didn't turn into a fight, but I saw one time you shoved a UFC fighter. Now, I don't know what is the story behind this. It's a TikTok. Was she a legit UFC fighter?
Yeah, that's Ashlee Evans-Smith.
Okay.
She honestly, I as soon as I did it, I was like, oh no.
You're gonna
I
get
was
your
like,
ass
this
beat.
could have gone so bad. I'm not a trained MMA fighter.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can thug most things out, okay?
Yeah.
I think I would, I would live. I could probably walk
Mm-hmm.
away from it really messed up, but at least be like,
Hmm.
okay, she didn't send me to the hospital, you
Yeah.
know? Um, I'm really grateful. I think about that often. I'm really grateful she didn't.
Where
Um,
was this?
so this was at Irvine Improv
Okay.
for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when it was, yeah. Yeah, and she was like friends with Zeta Zhang, and I was wrestling Zeta Zhang, and so I'm
Okay.
like,
That makes sense
I'm gonna,
then.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna punk your friend real quick.
Hmm.
So I got in her face, and I'm like, in hindsight, hindsight, it's a good thing she didn't, for my sake, for my
Hmm.
sake. But it is really cool to at least tell people, yeah, I shoved a UFC fighter and got in her face, and nothing
And walked
happened,
away. Yeah.
and walked
Oh
away.
my God. Imagine though. And she didn't know you were gonna do that?
No, at least I,
That's ballsy, Bryn.
it is. It is. I wouldn't want anybody, punching this pretty face and making it look different. So we're
No,
good.
that's fair. And you've obviously been in actual some hardcore moments in your career, like we said, taking the skewers to the head. And I know last time we were talking about a spot you had with a doll, which is still hilarious. But to kind of flip it, what would you say is the craziest or or most hardcore spot you've watched in a wrestling ring? Or I guess
Mm,
around in a bar, wherever the wrestling show setting is.
okay. That's a good one. And this is one that I've seen with my own eyeballs in person, live in the flesh.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. You see a lot of them, but some of them you have to like cringe and look away, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I don't often like find myself like in super violent like deathmatch
Mm-hmm.
stuff like where I'm like watching it live.
I personally
Uh,
cringe when I see light tubes. Like those make me nervous personally.
yeah, the light tubes themselves don't make me nervous. It's the chemicals in them that make me
I
nervous.
mean, yeah, yeah.
Like when you see the dust go, you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, that can't be good to inhale.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. There was one time, I'm not going to say what show it was or who
Okay.
it was, but I saw someone take a light tube, like they swung the light tube, and instead of it hitting like their chest, it went to their throat. And everybody was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because that could easily like hit an artery.
Yeah.
But thank God the person was okay. Like there was literally like, minimal,
Okay.
things going on. So we were like, you know.
Yeah.
Um, More so, let me think of there was one, and it was my friend Cutthroat Cody,
Mm-hmm.
who he wrestled Nick Cage, and it was a GCW for like SummerSlam weekend many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this man was just, I remember actually like prepping him, like helping him get ready and stuff. And like nothing could have prepared me for what we were about to see, because this man, you could not see his skin. He was covered in so much blood, and like just like light tube pile after light tube
Yeah.
pile. Like, oh my God, like I get really queasy with blood, like too much blood sometimes. So I'm like, I gotta
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah, for me, like I know we were talking like I like gore in like movies and stuff, but like knowing a lot of that blood is like real, like in person, I don't know, light tubes just make me really nervous. I think skewers are cool as hell, but like the chemicals and like they make me very nervous for you guys. So thank God everybody was okay that day, and all of that because you're putting your bodies at risk. So
Most
Godspeed
definitely.
to all of you. Now, I want to talk about one of your shirts. We're talking about you have that country spirit, you've got the brawling attitude, you also have the chaotic energy. One of your shirts is obviously Bryn's chaotic energy, which is kind of a play on an energy drink. Are you an energy drink person, would you say?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. I
me too.
am. I was actually just thinking today when I got one, I was like, I need to chill because this may not, like, it's really bad that Costco provides energy drinks in bulk. Yes, I am. I actually just got my main go-to, which I'm not like an Alani person. Like those are like typically like not my type, but
Yeah,
their pink slush has the biggest chokehold on me. And I like the C4s with all their popsicle
I like
flavors.
C4s, yeah.
The Red Bull, obviously like the sugar-free Red Bulls with their like seasonal flavors. The strawberry
Mm,
apricot goes crazy. Yeah, there's a lot. Like I'm not super picky with them, but I know I'm kind of like, I know exactly what I don't like when I see
yeah.
it. And then I see like some I'm like hesitant to try. Because like there's nothing worse than like opening a can and you taste it and you're like, bro, this is ass. And then you just
Yeah.
have to like have it. And you're like, all right, at least I'll never know again. And then you forget and then
Hmm.
you get it again and then you learn your lesson again.
Hmm.
That's kind of like my cycle, you know? I
Yeah.
forget something's bad and then I get it. And I'm like, why did I do this?
I also love my energy drinks. I just had my Celsius earlier today. Like I
God
live
goes
on,
crazy. What do you
yeah.
like?
They have a new one. It's like strawberry watermelon. I had the plain watermelon one. The orange one is really good. Kiwi guava is good. I haven't tried I think there's a black cherry one. I haven't tried that. But my all-time favorite is the Rain Orange Dreamsicle. It tastes just like a carbonated creamsicle and is so freaking good.
That one's so good.
Um, and there's other like the brand is called Lit. It has like a gummy worm flavor and it's really good.
Okay. Okay. Gummy worm flavors do kind of go crazy. Bucked
Yeah.
Up has a couple, and
Mm,
they're pretty solid.
yeah. I know some other brands have like it's basically the same thing though, like gummy bear, gummy worm, but like I like the fruity or like the sweet ones.
Mhm.
Um, so I like those. But to kind of match that, have you found anyone in the wrestling scene that could match your chaotic energy?
Like as far as like presence and aura, I think. Here's the thing, like I love it when it happens. Like I love it when someone is just equally like when I stare at them and I give them the death stare and they're like
Mhm.
equally like staring at me back. I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Mhm.
Someone who I feel the first person that comes to mind at least that I feel has matched me and maybe even exceeds me in this regard of not just like chaotic energy. I probably take the cake in the chaotic energy, but just more so the intensity of their presence and their stare would be Bateman. Uh,
Yeah.
he's terrifying, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what I admire about him is like I really want kind of want to have like that presence
Hmm.
of you make your opponent freak a little bit when they stare at you, and then you also make the crowd feel scared for your opponent. And that is just like something that very few people are able to accomplish. And that is like a huge goal of mine if I haven't reached it
Hmm.
already, which I try to. Because I try to have like really terrifying eyes when I stare at people,
Yeah.
or at least look, and I mean it. Like I don't do it to like seem that way. I do mean it, because that's like real. If I were to, with all intents and purposes, like throw hands with somebody, that's how I would stare at them.
The crazy eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that. Now, I don't know if you've met her, because I feel like, because you're on the West Coast, but I don't know if you've heard of Little Mean Kathleen. She kind of has that same, like, she's based in like, the New England area. She kind of has that same energy, very small, but very feisty and fiery, and has very chaotic energy as you. Um, so I think, I mean, if we were to ever do a West Coast and East Coast thing, like, I feel like you two would match each other's energy so well.
Yeah, you
Um,
know what? I'm looking at it right now because I'm like, I wanna like be
yeah.
present with, like, yeah, she absolutely does. Um, she definitely has those eyes and that crazy face.
Hmm.
For sure. I like it. That's cool. That's actually like really cool you brought that up because I had no idea who that was, respectfully. But like I can tell just like by looking at a few of her photos, she's definitely got those eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see that someday just to see who would be the most chaotic out of the two of you. But obviously we mentioned, you're working a lot on the West Coast. You've made a lot of trips up and down and even into Canada last year. You made your debut. You mentioned it earlier. One of the popular spots for you is Las Vegas, where you will be once again during WrestleMania 41 weekend. So far, we know you will be turning to Grap House for a three-way with Ava Lawless and Dark Sheik. So tell us about your upcoming return to Grap House on April 18th.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited that that place is home to me. I've been there since day one.
Yeah.
Um, and they are their family and I'm so happy to be back. Also, I have like watched Ava Lawless like for a while now, and I am like when they announced it, I was so excited.
Hmm.
I get such a cool opportunity with Dark Sheik
Yeah.
and I go way back, and so like we're just like butting heads again, and with a new person. This is gonna be so much fun. I am really really excited to beat these two to a pulp.
Now, of course, you are a former Grap House World Champion. Is that a title you're interested in reclaiming?
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's made its claim to fame over the last few years. It is one to go after. Anybody who competes for it really fights like hell to get it. And it's coveted. And I am 100% going to chase after it again.
Well, hopefully, with a win, maybe you'll get yourself back in line for the world title. But I'm so curious, what are your other plans for WrestleMania weekend? Where else can people find you or perhaps watch you wrestle?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I got Grab House, like we mentioned. I've got Pride Style, which I've made my regular
Yeah.
appearances on. They're also fantastic as well. Vegas favorites. I'm looking at it right now, so I
Yeah.
apologize. I believe I'm returning to New Tradition Lucha Libre for their all women's show, Viva Las Reinas. So that's a for the all women show. That's a debut for me, and that's like
That's
really, really
awesome.
exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got Marks Are Us, which is another local Vegas show that would be more of like the bar fight scene type of deal going on. And I'm sure I'm going to be popping in to a lot of shows going on at Vegas weekend, so I can almost bet that there's something else I'll pop up on.
Booked and busy, and you might even get some stuff along the way between now because we're still a month, actually exactly a month out from night one of WrestleMania. So maybe you'll get something else in line. But if people are going to Las Vegas for the first time, it's kind of like a second home for you. What are some eateries or places you recommend they visit?
Oh my God. Okay. First and foremost, okay, you cannot go to Las Vegas without going to Pink Box.
Okay.
Okay. That's a donut place. It's open 24/7, so there's no excuse. Okay. Um, their donuts do go crazy. I'm a big donut fan when I have them. And so when I go to Vegas, I always have to get Pink Box. Then there's this chicken place right by Swan Dive, which is where Pride Style and many other wrestling shows are going to be running Mania weekend. That was phenomenal. I wish I could find it real quick, but it'll take a minute. But if you just look up, chicken
Hmm.
places near Swan Dive, it will pop up. Last time I was there, it was fantastic. There's so many places. That's such a good question. Um, wow. Ooh, because I'm usually just like in and out,
Yeah, fair.
me- yeah, you know what? For sure, Pink Box though. You really can't skip out on it. It
I
goes
love
crazy.
donuts. What is your go-to like donut favorite? You said you have your favorites.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever I'm there, they have like really specific ones. Like the iconic one that they have there is like this like poop donut, and it's like
Oh,
literally looks like the
okay.
poop emoji.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's funny. It's got like little eyes and stuff. But my go-to is their strawberry one, which is just like glazed whipped cream and then strawberries in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, simple. I've noticed I used to go like overkill and then just going back to basic simple stuff is like what you can actually tolerate as like a human is
Mm-hmm.
like not too sweet and overbearing. S'mores. I am a huge s'mores fan.
Love
That's like my
s'mores.
favorite thing ever. So like I love a s'mores donut. Those are honestly those two are just the only ones I get every time I go.
I'm also one who like sticks with, the stuff But I guess if people are going there for the first time, you want to maybe try something new, maybe try and branch out and explore. I unfortunately will not be there. Hopefully one day though. I do love donuts. So if I'm ever there, I'm gonna go.
Girl, you
So,
have to. They're everywhere. You can't miss them.
okay, good to know. It's called Pink Box, you said? Okay, good to know. Two more questions for you. A little bit closer to home in Phoenix, we were talking about full circle moments. 2 years ago, you had a pretty full circle moment when you reunited with Saraya, aka Paige, in the same arena you met her now a decade ago. Shows you how much time flies. Tell us about that moment and its significance.
Yeah, definitely. I like to think about that semi often, especially if I just like really need a minute to kind of reflect on,
Hmm.
the entirety of like my wrestling career because sometimes I think about it, I'm like, God, I've been doing this forever. 'Cause I met her outside of that arena when I was 13.
Yeah,
And that was a year before I started training to wrestle. So
wow.
that was just like, oh my God. And when I was there, I was like, no, like it's kind of like a thing where you don't do that, where you don't go up and talk to them and
Yeah.
stuff, because God forbid you have like a moment with somebody you really admire. And so I guess, but some people just like ruin that experience. So
Hmm.
I was kind of wasn't expecting it to like I was hesitant to do it. I'm not like the type to just like go up to people and be like, "Oh my God." And I didn't do that.
Hmm.
I did it very respectfully. I was like, "Hey, like I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Like I just wanted to let you know like I met you outside this arena 10 years ago and like I just, I wanted to tell her that and I showed her the picture and she's like, "Oh my God." And she was so sweet. She's like, we have to retake it. I didn't even ask her to do it. She was just
Yeah.
like, we have to retake this picture, like, please,
Hmm.
you know, and she left like a really sweet message after the fact. And it was like, and for that, like, that's something like you cherish forever. And that's something that can always give you motivation if you're ever like feeling, you know, down about anything. Like I kind of think back and like, oh my God, like she told you to like keep going and like accomplish your dreams and like you can absolutely do it. And so like that meant the world to me because that woman is my hero, like through and through.
Hmm.
I would not be wrestling without her. I know understand like there's been, a lot for like going on with her over the, last decade, but
Hmm.
I've always just admired her and admired her look, her ring work, everything in her story. And so like that's someone that has always just like held dear to my heart. And so I've always appreciated and cherished that experience.
She's been one of two on the female side of like my biggest heroes as well. I finally got to meet her in 2022. I unfortunately never got to meet her like before then. But it was kind of a similar situation where it's like a semi-professional setting, but also like, so I understand that and like I vibe with her as well. She's got her own book coming out literally next week. So you're talking about her story. We'll get to read about that in her new book coming out. I know I ordered that. I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
On that note, final question. It is Women's History Month. Tell us about some of the other women in or outside of wrestling that inspire or empower you.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I have to mention my amazing girlfriend.
Yes.
Every day, she is my motivator. She pushes me to be my absolute best and is just like my rock and my full support and pushes me to accomplish my dreams and go after anything I want to do. And is just like legit, just like the most wonderful woman in my life. And every day, I'm so grateful for her. Audrey, I love you very much.
Yeah.
But because she'll watch this. But another woman, kind of like intertwined in wrestling, I have to mention is my friend Cutthroat Cody. Him and his wife Casey, is one of my best friends, and she understands the business through him. And she's just always been like a real good, strong support for me, and really understands things because she's seen and met so many people in the industry and understands how it works in many ways that my girlfriend may not understand. And so having someone to really like get me is so important, and she's someone I hold very dear to me. um, so many women in wrestling, like I think now more than ever, there's been like this toxic mentality that has made its way out of the industry or is making
Yeah.
its way out of the industry finally. Things linger, but of course I think on the optimistic side there has just been an amazing mentality of support that women have just come together to help each other and be there for each other through and through. um, yeah, like I think there's also people that um may not even know that they're like helping you, almost like an example like Saraya,
Yeah.
where they're just having their story and their experience, and coming from the indies like really just kind of helps you get through stuff. But yeah, like off the top of my head. Because I don't have too many like close knit relationships with too many of the girls to be like, yeah, like I don't, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, I get that too. It's good to have support outside of the wrestling bubble because they can be kind of maybe more objective or like unbiased and all of that. But it's good though, like you said, when you're working in a community that I feel like has just become, I mean, saturated can be good, can be bad, but like the numbers have grown a lot in the last couple of years. So it's good to hear that at least from your experience that there hasn't been too many waves made, or at least they're making strides to make things better because it is an inherently selfish business, you know?
No, 100%. But I will say this. I take great inspiration and motivation from every woman in the industry that I meet because I like to pick things that really stick out to me about them and use that as motivation.
Hmm.
Almost like a like something I want to like be like them in that regard.
Yeah.
Like something I don't see in myself that I see in them that I'm like, wow, I really admire that about you. And whether it's them as a person, or it's their work, or their gimmick, or anything, like I just like love kind of seeing the best in every woman I meet in the industry, and kind of being like, yeah, like I love that about them. I want to, resemble that. Another thing is like I take big motivation from the muscle mommies. I am a muscle mommy. And so when I see the really strong girls, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to be just like them. So, and I'm sure like we all internally like backbone off of each other, where we're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like their delts look really crazy. Like I need to like really work on my delts so that they look like
Hmm.
theirs. Like same with all that, and it's not
It's
in like a
healthy
negative.
competition. Yeah.
Very much. I do believe in healthy competition, not in like I'm comparing myself, but more so
Yeah.
like, dude, she looks so good. Like, I want to
Mhm.
look like
It
her.
motivates
There's so
you.
many of those. Yeah, most definitely. And so like for them, especially with the physical um aspect, I really, really admire when someone I can tell that they work really hard in the gym, because it shows like the discipline both in the ring and out.
Are you still doing personal training?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. But you can count, you can absolutely bet that I
Yeah,
go
I'm sure
crazy in the
it's
gym.
it still carries on with you, you kind of have to in wrestling, and it's kind of ingrained in you because you did it for a while, so I feel like it'll always be a part of you. So
Oh, no,
there's
definitely.
always
It's very
that
helpful.
motivation as well. But Bryn, actually, I did have one more question because I'm so curious. How did you discover you can take photos with your mouth?
Oh my God, that's such a good. I was hoping you'd ask this. So, well, it's not something I came up with. I'm not all original. But I've seen bodybuilders do that a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I've seen bodybuilders do it. It's not hard to do. I'm not like holding it in my mouth and then like taking it with my tongue or anything. Like I'm not like, going crazy.
Oh, timer probably.
Yeah, I just put it on a self timer, and then, well, let me just preface, okay? You know how dirty gyms are. Like I'm not
Yes.
gonna like, because I'm one of those, I just toss my phone on the ground. I don't care.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna like, after, touching all this equipment, pick up my phone and put it in my mouth. That's actually kind of crazy. I always wipe it down before I put it in my mouth,
Yeah.
and I just put a timer on it and call it a day. And I've gotten quite a few good ones where I'm like, oh my God, like this has to be a routine thing for me.
Hmm. Oh my God. Do you have any other hidden talents?
No, I just learned how to cartwheel
Hmm.
like a year
There you
ago.
go.
It's not hidden anymore.
You
It's
can't
not a
do any
talent either. It's
motorcycle
not fun.
tricks? You gotta learn
No,
some
that
motorcycle
bike is like
tricks.
500 pounds.
Fair, fair. Oh
I
my
get
God.
scared going 70.
That's fair too. You never know what's out there on the road. So that would be something to practice like in the middle of nowhere, like you said. So
Mhm,
maybe.
mhm.
But I was curious because it looks so cool, but I'm like, how does she do that? And then I realized, oh, timer, duh.
That's funny.
It does look really cool though. And
Thank
it
you.
embodies your muscle mommy attitude. Um, but Bryn, before we let you go, please let listeners know where they can find you on social media and support you.
Yeah, most definitely. So my Instagram is Bryn of the Thorns. A lot of people thought that my name was Bryn of the Thorns. It's not. It's Bryn Thorne. Um, that was my mistake. And then my ex is Bryn of Thorns. And then I don't use Facebook, but my Facebook is Bryn Thorne. And then you can find all of my matches, not all of them, but you can find some of my matches on YouTube when you look up Bryn Thorne Wrestling.
And that's Thorn with an E
That
at
is
the
a thorn with
end.
an E.
So yes. Well,
Mhm.
Bryn, we look forward to your plans for WrestleMania weekend. Stay tuned to her social media for more updates on that. But in the meantime, Bryn, thank you so much for catching up with me today.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was really nice to chat with you again.